I can tell you, in my opinion, the NFL is not going out of its way to help Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs. Just not. Why would they? Quarterbacks, yes. Do they need to regulate this better? Absolutely. But the reason why Patrick Mahomes stands out is because he's always on TV in these games. He's not playing at 1 o'clock. He's playing in marquee games, so you see him more than any other quarterback. And he's winning more than any other quarterback. And he's probably getting calls, in your opinion, more than any other quarterback. But you're not watching all the other games. You're not watching every Baker Mayfield game. You're not watching even Josh Allen, all of his games. You're watching Mahomes because they're always on. And they're always that marquee game. But do I think he gets preferential treatment? I don't. I think quarterbacks do. And that's the problem with this rule. And if you're going to flaunt it, at some point, if I'm a defensive coordinator, I say, we'll eat the penalty, I'll eat the fine, go hit him. Go hit him. I would absolutely do that. Yes, Todd.
When we say this preferential treatment of quarterbacks, is there a, whether it's said or not, any kind of directive? Here's a list of the so-called elite players, and if you're going to err, we should err on the side of caution with
How do you
flags.
think that would go over if an internal memo existed?
Certainly not something you could put in writing where it can be traced.
Well,
I wonder if there's a wink and a nod somewhere, like the following quarterbacks. If you're on the fence, throw the flag.
No. We do this with the NBA. I mean, I've had conversations where David Stern is livid, MFing, and I was in his office, and these complaints came in that Jordan was getting calls, and he was apoplectic. He goes, this league can't be built on something like that. I get that everybody wanted to see Michael Jordan and wanted to see him win. Even if he was playing against your team, you're like, damn, they're exciting. We want to see them. That's not the case with the Kansas City Chiefs. That wasn't the case with the Patriots. People at some point go, oh, not them again. No one ever did that with the Bulls. Truly one of the most remarkable teams as far as their popularity that I've ever been around. No one got tired of them. They were fascinating. You were watching something special. Kansas City, you're watching something special. You might be watching second greatest coach of all time, maybe turn out to be the greatest quarterback of all time, and maybe the best tight end of all time. You're seeing all that right now. But I don't think people go, can't wait to see the Chiefs. So I don't think that there's some kind of initiative that they're going, hey, whatever. These calls happen in a split second. It's not like you can go, wow, it looks like he's going to slide. I better get ready to call roughing the... You can't. It's so quick. Should they review these? Okay. But then, once again, they don't want to be bogged down by review. I don't think there's any initiative, the agenda of, hey, who do we got here? Are they going to protect Jaden Daniels? Why not? You going to protect Jalen Hurts? And if Josh Allen, I just don't think they think that way. I think they look at the position. I don't think they look at the player necessarily. Yes, Eden.
It does seem, though, like the calls do favor some players and not others. Patrick Mahomes, I don't know what the percentage of roughing the passer calls are, right? But there was a play yesterday when Lamar Jackson was, 10 feet out of bounds and got tackled.
Yeah, absolutely. Should have been called.
And they're like, well, he started the tackle and by starting the tackle, it means he was holding on to his shirt and then tackle him later. I mean, that's clear. Patrick Mahomes, that player would have been thrown out of the game if he did that to Patrick Mahomes.
He might have been executed, yes.
Possibly right there.
Yeah, right
like
there.
A horse at the racetrack.
But if we can find out the number of times that Patrick Mahomes, roughing the passer, do you have those numbers?
Yeah, I looked it up about a half hour ago. There's a couple different metrics, but This year, Patrick Mahomes, defensives were called 6 times for roughing the passer against him. That's the most in the league. Second is Josh Allen. Third is Jared Goff. Fourth is Baker Mayfield.
Okay.
But number 1 in the league, Patrick Mahomes. If you look back at it, though, it's almost like the league doesn't have to have an agenda to tell people to protect the quarterbacks. Just every third year, I look back, over the past 15 years, there's been 5 new rules to protect the quarterbacks. Going to the legs, going to the head, right? When the quarterback is out of the pocket on an interception, they protect him from getting hit. The slide rule, you can't hit him on the slide. That was 3 years ago. So in the past 12 years, 5 different new rules to protect the quarterback.
What if you just said to the quarterbacks, when you leave the pocket, you're a running back? You protect yourself. They would certainly find a better way to protect themselves. But do they take advantage of this? Do they slide late? Do they get out of bounds late? Do they try to get an extra? Yes, they do. They flaunt it. Yes, Eden.
I think that's part of the problem, actually, is that the officials do treat some quarterbacks like they're runners when they leave the pocket, and other quarterbacks, they don't. They treat them like quarterbacks.
Yeah. I remember when I saw Cam Newton play in Denver years ago. Denver just beat the hell out of him. I mean, he was not a quarterback. When he was running the ball, I mean, they did not protect him. I do think that there's certain quarterbacks that probably get maybe the benefit of the doubt sometimes, but I don't think there's a league-wide agenda that goes, who do we have today? You got Tom Brady, and you got Tom Brady against Cade McNown. All right, make sure we take care of Tommy, okay? All right, ready, break. Yes, Todd.
But even if it's not a directive, don't you think, I would think there's pressure on the refs to get it right, especially when it comes to an elite quarterback. If there's some kind of egregious call and they don't throw the flag and it involves someone like Patrick Mahomes, like, are they going to get a talking to? They're not going to be able to do playoff games?
What is their benefit? As Steve Young said, as an official, you're graded. If you miss the call, you're trying to get a high enough grade to do playoff games to make more money, and maybe you get to do a Super Bowl. Why would you allow yourself to maybe be downgraded because you were trying to protect Patrick Mahomes? It doesn't make any sense. Do I think they go out of their way to overly protect the quarterbacks? They do. Absolutely. But I don't think there's an agenda. Yes, Eden.
I would think that those refs that you're talking about are more likely to get a good grade if they protect Patrick Mahomes. I think that's exactly, they're being graded on this. So, yeah, let me make sure that
if they called it right, the non-call with Lamar Jackson, I would think that would downgrade somebody. The two players crashing into each other and not crashing into Mahomes, I would think you missed that call. Will Anderson Jr. III, the helmet-to-helmet or face mask to face mask. Would I have called it? No. But I grew up in a different time when, you were allowed to play football. It's called tackle football.